Oda, you gave us quite a bit of world building with this chapter. As I've already said many times in the past, one of my favorite types of chapters of One Piece is not the action, it's the world building. When it comes to the Void Century, to the Poneglyphs, to just all sorts of other things going on with the arc, just building up the arc and stuff, that is what this chapter is about, along with a lot of setup with some of our characters that haven't seen the spotlight. So, to start it all off, let's just talk about the beginning and then work my way towards the end. So, the beginning of the chapter opens up with the fight continuing on after, Luffy saying, I want to stay here and I'm not going to leave this spot until Sanji comes back. And so, because of Luffy staying in this spot, you had to where Big Mom sent out an army, and Luffy was having to fight this army with Nami behind him. Well, we get to see the outcome of this chapter when it came to the fight, and Luffy, he held his own for a bit, but he got crushed in the end. And I just want to say, shout out to Nami, even though she did get defeated in the end, shout out to her to being able to defeat a lot of the chest soldiers. And even though they were fodder, you can consider them fodder, she was able to destroy a large portion of the army and help out Luffy in a way to where he was able to hold off just a little bit longer. And the only reason why Nami was able to do such a tremendous amount of power with the lightning bolt was thanks to Big Mom's ability, sending out, Zeus. As we know, Big Mom, she kind of manipulates the weather, and since Nami's the type of person that can manipulate the weather as well, we know Nami is going to be able to use the weather to her advantage, and it was only thanks to Big Mom is the reason why she was able to wipe out all the chest soldiers that easily because of Big Mom sending out Zeus the Cloud. So, besides that, let's actually talk about Luffy's stance in the fight. So, Luffy, overall, he gets outnumbered and he gets defeated, which is kind of to be expected. I mean, these are Big Mom's, commanders, they're soldiers, and these aren't pushovers. This isn't, a game. This is something entirely different. All these different little soldiers, a part of Big Mom's crew, are not gonna be going down without a fight. And Luffy puts up somewhat of a fight, but overall, in the end, he gets overpowered thanks to numbers, but also the very unique abilities out of all these different soldiers, which, I gotta say, I love what Oda is doing with Big Mom's, soldiers, like her different crew members. I love their Devil Fruit abilities. Like, I love the man that uses books, because was I the only one when I saw that book no me, like, type power pop up? It looked like a fantasy world, like, all a trippy fantasy world and stuff. I'm like, yo, this is pretty cool. Like, when you just saw the skeleton in the background, and you saw how the room was kind of wobbly looking, it looked so cool. But then you also saw, like, the cream power just going in, and you saw how it was, like, trapping Luffy, to also seeing, that long-necked swordsman. Just, I like the different designs to the characters, but also the abilities that we were seeing from these characters. And once again, we get to see how Oda really takes time to showcase these characters and see how we can be hyped about certain matchups in the future. Because, I mean, some of these characters that are introduced, I can't wait to see them going up against certain other characters in this arc. Well, that's a part of our crew. But one thing that Oda always has done really well with, it's come down to his designs. Oda really knows how to make really unique and wacky designs for his characters, especially the abilities as well. And this chapter really stands for that. I mean, you get to see all the different unique type of traits to characters, the way they look and stuff. I mean, overall, Oda did a very good job when it came to the art. The art looked rather impressive, to say the least. So, the fight ends up to where Luffy loses, and it seems like Luffy still has his tooth missing, which I want to point that out. As we know, that is something rather odd. We know Sanji knocked out Luffy's tooth, but we've seen this many times in the past to where there's a character that gets in a fight, it looks like they lost their teeth, but then overall it comes back. But this is different. I wonder if Oda-sensei, when, Sanji knocked out his tooth, I wonder if Oda's writing it in a way to show that Luffy permanently has that tooth gone. That tooth is permanently gone, and it's not coming back, which then that would carry with Luffy for the remainder of the series, like it's like a battle wound from his friend hitting him in the face, and Luffy will carry that with him for the remainder of the series. I do hope Oda goes down that path, and I think he's probably doing something like that for Luffy to still have his tooth visibly missing. Like, you see his tooth gone in this chapter, and Oda even focuses on it in the chapter. So Oda would not do something like that if it was not important. So I feel like that design to Luffy now with him missing a tooth is very good. I like the direction Oda is going with that because it has a lot of impact between the dynamic between Luffy and Sanji. Since Sanji is the one that knocked it out, that would mean Luffy would carry that with him, and then he would have this tooth permanently gone. And when every time, Luffy thinks about, his past history with Sanji, or Sanji does about Luffy, they'll remember, how he knocked out this man's tooth. So yeah, I hope Oda keeps with that. Now, overall, though, we don't know a whole lot about some of these characters that were kind of shown with their Devil Fruit abilities, like, the Book no Mi. We didn't really get to see how the ability completely works. It looks very unique. Now, moving into the next segment, let's talk about Big Mom. So, Big Mom, she surprised me with this chapter. Personally, I did not think she would be that reasonable. I thought she would have put up a fight. She would have said, nah, I want to, take care of Luffy and all that, since she's a Yonko, and what we've seen from her personality, she can get upset and just go on a rampage. I figured, that wouldn't have been as easy, but apparently Big Mom isn't necessarily completely evil. Now, there could be more to her, but at this time, though, she seemed very reasonable as actually accepting what Sanji was saying. For instance, Sanji was pleading for his crew's life. Hey, can you please let my crew live and let them leave this island? I promise you, I will marry Pudding. I won't put up a fight. I'll make her very happy. And then Big Mom was very happy. She's like, yeah, I'll turn a blind eye. I'm completely fine to that. And I noticed in the dialogue, it seemed like Big Mom was completely fine, but she said something that was very eerie, and something that stood out. Now, this could be a translation error, or, it could be just translations, because, Japanese to English, so it might not have the same meaning. But in the translation I personally read, when Big Mom was saying, yeah, she'll let all the Straw Hat crew leave, she said, current Straw Hat crew. Emphasis on current. Now, like I said, this could be a translation error, because Japanese to English, but the translation I read said current Straw Hat crew members. So you know what this means, right? If Big Mom says she'll let the current Straw Hat members leave, now it means someone like Jinbei that's not a part of the crew, he won't be left alive if he does come, which he's bound to probably come onto the island and help out Luffy. Pedro, he's not a part of the crew, so he would be killed. Carrot as well, since she is not part of the Straw Hat crew. So when Big Mom said current, we have to factor in all the members of the Straw Hats, and also the members that are not of the Straw Hats. So Carrot and Pedro are on the chopping block. If Jinbei comes into the arc, he is on the chopping block. The only way that they could possibly get out of this, like, Pedro, Carrot, and Jinbei, is if they join up with Luffy, and Luffy actually declares them a part of his crew. That is the only way I could see them getting out of it, without being killed off. So Luffy would have to declare to Big Mom's face that, yes, Pedro, Carrot, and Jinbei are my crew members. So there's a potential possibility we could have some crew members joining in this arc because of what's going down with Big Mom. But regardless of that, though, I want to talk about what's really going on here, an angle that we need to kind of figure out. Capone is a big wild card in this arc. We know he's been trying some shit. We know he's building something up behind the scenes. We don't know his real objective completely, but we know he's going to try some shit later on down the road with Big Mom. He's going to try to do something. And we don't know yet, but it's probably going to play a very crucial role when the actual ceremony happens. When, Sanji finally, marries Pudding and all that. That's probably going to be the moment when Capone strikes. And the time is building, and time is ticking to where Capone will probably make his move. The question is, what will Capone do? Because we do know Big Mom, she's not someone you should think is weak. She's not. Her soldiers are very fucking strong, too. Yes, Luffy took down Cracker, but it was still a really hard battle, and it was thanks to Luffy being able to endlessly eat that he was even able to overcome that in the first place. And so this is not going to be the outcome to all the fights. It's going to be fucking hard. So Capone being a wild card, but also being a supernova, he's going to do something. But we know he's not strong enough to take down Big Mom by himself. So what will he do to start a problem? Is he going to crash in and bring in Kaido or something? Is something else going to happen? I mean, is Blackbeard going to pop up? I mean, there's a lot of questions that we have. But Capone is a big wild card right now. And if there's anything that means anything right now, even if Luffy can't do shit, like if Luffy can't do shit and save Sanji, and Sanji can't do nothing either, Capone is the wild card that's going to come in and probably start something, and then everything's going to go to hell, and then maybe that's when Sanji and Luffy might be able to make their move and also steal the Poneglyph too, or at least, get a copy of it. That might be what's going on there. So, enough of that. Let's talk about the hat situation, which was nothing really important, but I just kind of want to talk about it for a second because it was a nice little detail that Oda-sensei put into the chapter. When Big Mom was showing her facial expressions, like she was showing like one eye open, all that, she's like, really now, I'd be rather pissed if this was a normal circumstance, but since I care about my daughter, having a bigger family and stuff, that's my top priority, and I'll just look at the other way, turn the other cheek. When Big Mom was showing these facial expressions in the panels, you saw her hat doing the exact same thing, and I like that little design that Oda added to her hat. I don't know if it's been done before, like, I don't know if I've seen that before, like, if Big Mom, when she has talked, her hat changes expressions, but I've never noticed it before. But when I was reading this chapter, it was a lot of emphasis on her hat, just smiling or showing an angry face, and I like that design of the hat, and so very good stuff, Oda. I really like that design to Big Mom. It's nothing important, it's nothing crucial. I just like the design of the hat and the way it had its own will. It had like a soul implanted inside of it. So moving off of that, let's talk about the poneglyphs. So this is the crucial stuff of the chapter. Now, we are finally revealed to how many poneglyphs there are in the world. And from my understanding, this is the first time it's been revealed. We know about the historical poneglyphs, we know about the instructional poneglyphs, and we now know about the road poneglyphs, like the red ones that lead to, the main final destination. And so, with this, we now have an estimate number of how many poneglyphs there are in total. That is 30. Now, here's the thing, okay? 30 poneglyphs. We know there's only 4 road poneglyphs, which are the red ones, and then the others, that would be 26, would be the ones that have the crucial information and all that, like historical information, or information about, let's say the ancient weapons, like, Poseidon and all stuff like that. So when you think about it like this, Big Mom, she has a good amount of poneglyphs. I mean, she has 3 in one area. She got, 2 Rio poneglyphs, which are the regular, like, normal poneglyphs, and she has 1 road. And as we know, one of the road poneglyphs are on Zou, and another one is in Kaido's possession, and then one is lost to history. So, overall, Big Mom has a road poneglyph, which we were aware of. That was kind of one of the big objectives to come here in the first place. But now we know she has 2 other regular poneglyphs, which could have really crucial information on them, and we know for a fact that that's going to be probably got as well. It's not just going to be the road poneglyphs information that, Brooke and them are going to get. It's probably going to be those other 2 as well that might lead to more historical information of the Void Century, but also maybe Uranus. If you remember, there is an ancient weapon that we don't know much about, and that is Uranus. And so when you think about this, one of those poneglyphs could be a part of that information, and I know for a fact that Brooke is not going to just get, like, the road. He's probably going to get all of them, because Robin would be pretty fucking pissed off if she heard that there was 3, but Brooke decided to only get 1. She'd be pretty damn mad, and since this is probably, like, their only final and first time they could ever probably break into Big Mom's area and read this poneglyph, then he needs to grab that information now, because, I mean, it's not like they could just walk back in through the door, get this information again. It's just not gonna happen. It just will not happen. You can't just walk into Big Mom's territory a second time and say, hey, let me leave now. That won't happen. No, that will not happen. So Brooke has to make a move, and he has to manage to gather all the information from the poneglyphs, all 3, and so it makes the job a whole lot harder. It's not just 1, it's now 3. And then, on top of that, the security has been increased in the area, which this makes the area even more deadly. But let's talk about the person that is guarding the area. So, one of the higher ranked commanders of Big Mom's crew, Smoothie, has a 932 million berry bounty. Now, this ain't as big as Jack, but still. 932 billion berry bounty. Now, we do know that bounties, they don't necessarily mean power level, but they do mean threat or whatever they've done. It's pretty damn heinous. And so, Smoothie having a high bounty like that is not going to be someone that's a pushover, especially a part of Big Mom's crew, that high up, in charge of a security detail, and also watching over a very important, crucial, historical poneglyph, there's just no way this person is not gonna be powerful. The thing is, looking at her ability, she has the ability to squeeze the juice out of people. For instance, grabs you, twists you around like you're a freaking, like, wet rag, squeezes all your juices out like your blood or whatever, and then you're drained dry, you hit the ground, and then she drinks you in a cup. You actually see that in this chapter, which is very fucking brutal, by the way. Like, holy crap. And then you think about Brooke. Brooke is infiltrating and going inside of here, and he's going to be using Pedro as bait. Now, judging by Brooke's ability, since he is nothing but bone, he's just dead, you know that this person can't drain him of his juice, because he has no juice to drain. He's already dead. So, Brooke is a very good counter to Smoothie. Commander Smoothie, Brooke is a very good counter. He could definitely go up against her and possibly take her down. You know what? No. Backtrack on that. I highly doubt Brooke could take her down. I just think he is a good enough counter to where he could hold his own, possibly get the information he needs, and then leave. I don't think Brooke could possibly defeat her. There might be a possibility because of the counter, but overall, though, still, Brooke is a good counter, and this is the first time in a very long time Brooke is actually getting the spotlight to shine and actually be a part of a fight. It's been way too long since Brooke actually got a chapter or a part of an arc to where he actually could showcase his skills. I mean, how long has it been? It's been... Holy crap, was it early Dressrosa, or was it even before that? It was a long time ago since Brooke has really had a spotlight, and so I'm glad he's getting the spotlight now, something so crucial, because when you really think about it, Brooke is like the only one right now that can actually move a part of the Straw Hats. I mean, Sanji, he's fucked. I mean, even if he was to break the bracelets around and try to escape, Zeph would be killed, so he can't do nothing about that, and also the Straw Hats would be killed, because now they're hostages. Luffy's trapped now. He got knocked out from what we could see in the chapter. Nami's trapped as well. I mean, we know Chopper and Carrot, they're trapped in the mirror world, but, Chopper kind of has a little bit more reign. He can gather information, but he's still trapped, and then you have the others, so overall, right now, if you think about it, Brooke is the only one that can move around. He's the only one that is kind of free, a part of the Straw Hats, so he's the most important right now in this arc. So I can't wait to see what Brooke is going to do next, to how he could get the information, but also save the Straw Hats. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.